Konnichiwa, y'all, and welcome to the 10 at 10 for October 12th of 2023.
Howdy, y'all. I'm Tim. That's Matt. We're MrMaple.com. We're the crazy Japanese maple brothers who bring you at least 10 new plants every Tuesday at 10 a.m. And guess what? We do it on Thursdays too recently.
Guys, we're actually bringing 20. This is just 10 of them. Sign up for our weekly email, sometimes bi-weekly, to see everything on this 10 at 10. Just a sampling here, 10 plants. There's actually 20. You can check that out in email form right now. Now, guys, we're going to be having an open house here. It's our last one of the year, and it's going to be November 4th. We're going to be open from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. And as many of you know, we recently bought Buckholtz Nursery. Our goal is to have some amazing plants here, never before seen at any of our other open houses.
So get excited, y'all, because we're going to have some amazing plants here. This will be an open house you won't want to miss. Buckholtz Nursery at Mr. Maple. You're going to have an amazing time.
All right, let's get into this 10 at 10. Let's tell them what we got. Let's start down there on your side, Tim.
Y'all, coming up first, we've got Acer Palmatum Sucasa Dwarf. This is a dwarf Japanese maple that we actually got from Masao Shiano. That was a seedling that was found by Yutaka Tanaka at Sucasa Maple.
Yeah, I think this was first offered at Mr. Maple, and it's an amazing tree. Reminds me a little bit of Mino Yatsubusa, but in a palmatum form. You get a little bit of a strap leaf going on. You definitely get one of the most compact dwarfs you'll ever see. It reminds me, if you times like Bajuriana Mino Yatsubusa, times like Seho.
I never thought about that way, but I see exactly what you're talking about. And it is such a crazy cool plant. Slow growing dwarf, stays really tight and dense and compact as it ages. And the leaf on this is so unique. It really gives you those Mino Yatsubusa vibes on a palmatum. Really, some really nice deep serrations. This plant is really cool and it's different, and that's always important.
I think it's gonna be a fun one for bonsai as you get into it. Really small overall leaves, serrated leaves on the new growth, nice red fall color coming up, very tight compact form. You know, if you're not a Tanaka picked it out, it's probably a good one. That guy hits home runs from everything from Hanamatoi to Sucasa Silhouette to Sucasa Dwarf. They're all hitters. All right, y'all, check this out. We got Crimson Prince back on the website.
Crimson Prince, this is one of the deepest, darkest Japanese maples. In fact, originally this tree was patented. And a few years ago, my wife and I drove all the way up to the Dawes Arboretum. And they've got a huge specimen of this. And I mean, it was just looking phenomenal. It goes to a really nice shade of like purple red in the fall. Crimson Prince, this is a red upright you don't want to look over.
Yeah, I think people miss this one. It probably gets lost in the Crimson Queen, Blood Good, Emperor One kind of vein. People think, well, is it Crimson Queen? No, it's Crimson Prince, and it is amazing. This one will put on a really nice show in the fall, but what the main thing about this one really for me is the overall shape of the tree. It's got a very unique shape. It makes a nice upright canopy that's very full and dense, but it doesn't get super wide.
It doesn't, and that's one of the things I was going to mention. I mean, it stays fairly narrow in its shape, but it stays dense. So it makes an ideal red upright for almost any spot in the garden. An amazing tree. I think people, when it got patented originally, people were like, oh, I don't need to produce this.
Right.
Because we've already got Blood Good and Emperor One. But I mean, this plant, as soon as the patent dropped on it, people started producing it and started realizing how awesome of a plant Crimson Prince really is.
It's almost a cone-like shape. It's a hard one to describe, very full and thick. You don't tend to see through the plant. The overall shape brings a lot to what Japanese maples can do, though. All right, I mentioned that Sucasa Dwarf reminds me a little bit of Seho. Let's just go ahead and bring back Seho as well, y'all.
Seho, the name means paradise. It's a really small, vigorous dwarf. One of our very first videos on the Mr. Maple Show. Go check out the old video when you can see me whenever I'm in high school, probably. I mean, this is an amazing plant. Super small foliage on the new growth, too.
It was last year. You just look like you're in high school. Amazing plant. Purple border to it. I actually think, I went and looked. I think it's actually 2012.
2012.
Yeah, it ain't as old as you think. He's graduated college by then. Purple border on a yellow eye to this one. One of the smallest leaf trees you'll ever see.
This plant, it's one of my favorite trees. It stays small. It's very vigorous, so it gets out there quickly and then densens up with age. This makes it an excellent dwarf for containers, bonsai, or those small places in the ground. This is a little dwarf tree, excellent for bonsai. Don't sleep on this one. It's pretty awesome.
All right, what do we got next, Tim?
Next up, we've got Acer Shir Green Snowflake.
Oh man, this one's a fun one. A lace leaf form of a full moon maple. So you get that hybridization going on between palmatum and Shirasawanum. Probably one of the JB series from Jim Baggett that Talon named. Talon got into a lot of those. Jim Baggett, who was a breeder at Oregon State plants early on. Green Snowflake, super interesting, and an amazing tree. Great fall colors too.
Matt and I got to go visit Jim Baggett himself when he was alive, and he had amazing plants. He had Shishigashira seedlings everywhere, and he went through lots of seedlings from Acer Shir Sensu, which was JB50. And I mean, from the lineage, all from Shirasawa palmatifolium, it's crazy that they found lace leaf Shirasawanums, and then it got introduced by Talon Buchholz.
Yeah, I love this one. Very durable, very interesting. I tend to stake it up and kind of let it weep down from there. Such a unique form though. Green Snowflake really has a little bit fatter of a leaf. So the leaf is shorter and denser. It looks really weird. It doesn't look like any of the other lace leaves you've ever seen. Snowflake almost perfectly describes it. I mean, if I had to describe it, almost looks like a small Maiku Jaku leaf sometimes. Now,
one thing you'll notice with Acer Shirasawanum types, they start to get this really unique bark. It's an older bark to it. That's very typical for Acer Shirasawanum types. Don't worry about that. If you saw that on a palmatum, you might question it. Might say, hey, that's not healthy or something like that. But on Shirasawanums, that is completely normal.
All right, y'all. Next up, we got Acer Palmatum Phoenix.
Rising from the ashes. This tree in the spring rises from the winter with some amazing pink-orange color. It's one of my favorite trees when it comes to that spring color.
Okay, we shot this one a little bit early, but by the time you're seeing this, these might be in fall color. Great oranges to red in the fall as well. Showstopper of a tree. I always implore upon our bonsai community, try some new stuff. Everybody's always about Benishidari and DeSojo, and those are great plants, and we offer those here. Consider Phoenix. This will give you a whole different shade. Same aesthetics you're gonna get with Shin DeSojo and DeSojo, but even brighter colors, y'all.
And it's a unique color. So you can put this out there with your DeSojos and have a distinct bonsai color that is very unique and different in the spring. I mean, Phoenix, this is an awesome plant. The foliage, like Matt talked about, is very, very similar to DeSojo. But, I mean, the colors that you get on this are unreal.
What do we got next, Tim?
Looks like next we got Acer Palmatum Kurenai Jishi, the red lion's head Japanese maple.
All right, we're bringing these back, y'all. These are kind of green right now, a little bit of emeraldy, but they're really fun, especially in the early spring. They're a bold maroon, orangey pink new growth. Here in a few weeks, you're gonna see it look a lot more like Shishigashira. There's some fiery orangey to almost yellow new growth on that fall color.
And guys, this is a large 1 gallon Japanese maple. You may see us offer from time to time a small 1 gallon. A 2-year tree on Kurenai Jishi, it's a slow grower, can be 6 to 8 inches. And that's why we offer a small 1 gallon sometimes. These large 1 gallons, I mean, these really should be in 3 gallons. They're gigantic. So this is a great opportunity to get you a Kurenai Jishi that's got some amazing size.
Excellent sizes going on these right now. Beautiful overall plant, y'all. It's a great one for the container garden, the deciduous conifer garden, or anywhere in the landscape that you want a dwarf that's gonna be high impact.
Now these go to a bright orange in the fall, so get excited. This is an awesome tree. The spring color, that brick red color with the twisting foliage, that's where it gets the name of red lion's head. It's a tree that gives you color all throughout the season.
Back on the table, we got Acer Shirasawa and a Moonrise.
Y'all, this is a seedling that was found and introduced by our friend Carl Munn. This is perhaps one of the best Japanese maples been introduced in recent time. I mean, It's got that pink color over top of that apricot, over top of that lime green, really some yellow green colors in there. It makes a good tree, it's vigorous, and it's just all around good plant.
I find this one to be a great Shirasawa one for the south. We've got one in full sun here in zone 6B. It's growing excellently. Up to zone 8, it handles a good bit of sun. I love that lollipop kind of color it gets on it. I mean, you get yellows with splashes of apricot and orange all on it. The fall color is typically more of a bold orange to red late. It's a showstopper in every single season. Got that big full moon style leaf. Really an amazing plant.
If you're looking to add some color to your yard, this is a thing that can brighten up those dark places, but also just makes a showpiece out there in the garden. Y'all, next up, we've got Acer Palmatum Clarabelle.
Oh man, pair those to that Phoenix. That'd be a fun one as well. Clarabelle is one of my favorite yellows for spring. Kind of get some oranges going on in there as well. It's a showstopper for that color. But we're gonna get into some really nice orangey red fall color on this soon.
Yeah, Clarabelle is apparently like a clown on some old TV show.
It's on Howdy Doody.
On Howdy Doody?
I'm too young to remember Howdy Doody. I thought it was from Mickey Mouse because like They hang out. My kids watch that. There's a cow called Clarabelle who also is yellow, so I didn't know.
But Clarabelle has some of that orange and yellow. The clown does to its suit. So this plant is going to clown your spring with all the other plants because the color is one of those bright spring interests of oranges and yellows.
Really a fun one. Another one that would lend itself well to bonsai. If you're into the bonsai thing, I think it'd be a fun one. Similar style foliage, small overall. Great plant to put in the landscape though and create future material from. It's a showstopper though. You can put this one out there and kind of get that contrast going on in the spring garden. It is one of those plants where it's like the flower is the foliage. You kind of get that two-tone thing going on with this one, especially on the new growth. And such a cool one to be having. I'm always glad to bring this one back.
Put out a flowering garden in your garden. Plant yourself a DeSoto, plant yourself a Phoenix, put yourself a Clarabelle out there, and you're gonna have different spring colors that's just gonna be outrageous. It looks like you look like your whole garden's flowering.
Here you go, bro.
Thank you much. Y'all, next up, we've got the Floating Clouds Maple, Uki Guma.
These aren't Uki or Gumoing, but they will. Leave this one out slow. It'll be one of the widest plants in your garden. We've got a whole video on how to do that best. One of the things I love about Uki Guma is its fall color is a bold orange. We recently shot a top 100 fall color Japanese maples. You'll have to tune in to see where Uki Guma falls on the list. It's a tree I would buy just for the fall color, and the spring color is an added bonus.
Yeah, I mean, this plant, it's one of those trees that gives you unreal colors in the garden. When it does Uki Guma, when it does give that Uki Guma color out there, it is outrageous. The white color stands out from many other trees in the garden. And white is one of those things you don't find in many other things besides flowers. And when you have a tree that can leaf out completely white in some years, it's gonna grab everyone's attention and it's gonna make a statement for your garden.
Uki Guma Floating Cloud. All right, another oldie but a goodie. Another good one for bonsai too. We got Hiyama, y'all.
Y'all, Hiyama, these are some really nice large 1 gallons of Hiyama. This was, for the longest time, the photo that was on my business card when we would go out to garden shows. It was one of my favorite plants. The Hiyama style of irrigation, the popcorn maple, it puts out this unfurling of the leaves with this pink color, then it goes to a creamy white.
Yeah, super showy. Fast grower too, typically at over 1.5 foot of growth a year. We have a beautiful specimen of this in Maplewood Gardens there at our parents' place. One of my dad's favorites. He was growing this one early on. Now, it does root. It does do well as a bonsai. I've actually rooted this one myself. Some of those variegated plants don't root so well, so I do think this one makes a fun accompaniment. It does tend to grow more in a more narrow habit overall as it gets out there. I've had some incredible red to orange fall colors on this as well. Great sizes right now on Acer palmatum Hiyama.
Now, Hiyama doesn't show variegation late in the year. Especially if you're growing in a cold frame like we are, these have a lot of vigorous growth to them. New growth flushes are green, but don't worry. Those will return to that pink, that amazing popcorn style leaf the very next spring.
All right, y'all, let us know in the comment section below what your favorite tree is on the table today. And let us know, hands up, if you're coming to that November 4th open house. We're gonna have some product here for Buckholtz Nursery. It's gonna be incredible. We're gonna no holds bar. We're gonna pull out all the stops this time. There's gonna be some incredible stuff going on. Some plants from MrMaple you've never seen, some plants from Buckholtz you've never seen. I think it's gonna be a perfect marriage and you'll get to experience it first at that November 4th open house from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m.
So make sure you come to that. It's always a good time to go around and talk plants with other people who love Japanese maples like you do. Matt and I will run around the greenhouse and say hey to us as well. Get excited. That's gonna be an awesome open house. I think that could be, with this announcement with Buckholtz Nursery, that could be our biggest open house of the year.
We're going out big. It's the last one of the year. We've had several. We're going out big. There's going to be some surprises never before seen at this open house. So be there. You're going to have a blast. We really appreciate everybody who continues to support us through MrMaple.com. You guys are awesome. Tuning in, subscribing, but shopping on MrMaple.com means the most. You've allowed us to do things beyond our wildest dreams, like purchase Buckholtz Nursery and continue to grow this channel. So you guys are a huge part of the success. We really appreciate you.
Take care.
God bless.
And have a great day.